let them decide. Thank you.
Thank you. This will close the hearing on House Bill 175. Now, we have Senate Bill 193 by Senator Vukovich. I think most of you know the story of this one. It's the last one. It's been with us for a long time, and it's missed a lot of deadlines, but in case we need it, we have ways of suspending rules and causing miraculous things to happen sometimes. So, Senator Vukovich, go ahead and present your bill number 193.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. For the record, I'm Gene Vukovich. That's spelled G-E-N-E and V-U-C-K-O-V-I-C-H. The first C in the last name is silent, and it is pronounced in 3 syllables, Vukovich. I represent Senate District 43, that includes all of Granite and Deer Lodge counties and part of Powell County, including the city of Deer Lodge. I bring before you today Senate Bill 193, which revises the Medical Marijuana Act and provides sideboards for same. The bill is based upon a recent medical marijuana bill passed in Arizona and the preliminary rules for would-be users and prescribers of medical marijuana that are so stringent that no more than 20,000 people likely will qualify for the drug, a sharp decrease from an earlier estimate of 100,000 in the first year alone. This bill would allow patients with cancer, HIV or AIDS, hepatitis C, and any other chronic or debilitating disease that meets guidelines to buy 2.5 ounces of marijuana every 2 weeks or grow a limited number of plants themselves if they live more than 25 miles from a dispensary. A patient must get a medical or a marijuana recommendation from a Montana doctor who has been treating the patient for a year or has taken preliminary or primary responsibility for their care after compiling a medical history, conducting a comprehensive exam, and reviewing medical records. Patients also must provide a copy of a valid identification card, proof of U.S. citizenship or naturalization, and detailed doctor information. They must pay an application fee of $150 and a yearly renewal of the same amount. Doctors, meanwhile, must initial statements saying they reviewed all of the medications being taken by the patient for potential interactions with marijuana. In addition, physicians must initial a statement saying that he or she will continually assess the patient and their needs for medical marijuana and that their patient is likely to benefit from using the drug. The rules of this bill will not stop those who truly need medical marijuana from getting it. A newly diagnosed cancer patient, for example, could go to their oncologist and get a recommendation immediately. Inasmuch as I had come to believe that this proposed legislation had been tabled by this committee, I have not been vigilant with respect to its update. I have recently requested legislative staff to write an amendment to this bill regarding dispensaries that would become part of the bill. The legislative staff has been very busy preparing other marijuana bills and has promised to have the said amendment prepared prior to this committee taking any executive action on the bill. As stated before, this proposed legislation is based upon legislation being implemented in the state of Arizona. And I would recommend that the committee members review Arizona's handling of the medical marijuana issue by going online to the website of the Arizona Public Health Department and looking at the medical marijuana issue on that site. I wish to thank the members for the opportunity of presenting this proposal and will be interested in hearing any pros and cons regarding it and reserve the right to close. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have the first proponent, please.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Kate Haleva, C-H-O-L-E-W-A, for the Alliance for Cannabis Science. I felt like coming in and saying, I've brought a gray bill, but I think we're past that. We do support this bill. Arizona's pretty happy with what they're doing there. But largely we would support the bill just because this is a crazy issue that crazy things are happening with, and we probably need a lifeboat in case 423 explodes somewhere along the way, even though I think it's a lifeboat that would probably get overrun by pirates along the way. We probably need it if we want to get something in place just for backup. Thanks.
Thank you. Next proponent.
My name is Nancy Adkins, A-D-K-I-N-S, D as in dog, and I'm from Livingston, Montana. And I have sat and listened to the chief of police talk about the marijuana laws as they now stand and how difficult it is to enforce them. I am also a former teacher, and I have taught adults also, and I am really concerned about the marijuana laws that we now have, and I ask for some regulation. Do something.
Thank you. Next proponent, please.
Senator Murphy, members of the Senate, my name is Mort Reed, M-O-R-T-R-E-I-D. I'm here to speak in favor of Senator Vukovic's bill. This is the last remaining bill on this issue that is not a repeal bill. It provides some common sense sideboards that 83% of the public has asked for in a recent Gazette poll, and we've heard several bills on this issue up to this point, all having the same effect on the medical marijuana industry, and that is repeal. I think this is a common sense bill. It's one that the people have asked for, and I think for those people who are supporting repeal, there are a lot of people out there that are second-guessing the will of the voters. I don't think that's the job of the people that we send to Helena to craft our laws. The only way that you can know for certain what's on the minds of the voters is to put the issue back before the voters and let them make that decision. And I hope that's what the Senate will decide to do on this issue. In summary, I support this bill, and I hope that you will as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Further proponents?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, again, I'm Tom Dobert here for Patients and Families United, and in the interest of your time and mine, I'll simply concur and agree with everything the other proponents have said, and I'd like to commend Senator Vukovic for his efforts. Thank you.
Next proponent.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Jim Gingery with the Montana Medical Growers Association. I do support the bill because it is a reasonable regulatory bill. It does put some additional sideboards on it. Of course, my preference would be the gray bill, but we don't have that one. There were a couple of questions that I do have regarding the bill, though. One is the residency requirement for patients. I do question whether we need to punish 80 patients who are currently out-of-state patients. I happen to have a stage 4 brain cancer patient that comes from Wyoming to Billings for treatment, and she receives medicine while she's in the state of Montana to use in the state of Montana, and I don't really believe that those people should be necessarily excluded. It would be helpful in the bill if there was a definition of divert, because that is a big issue, and so I don't believe that I saw actually a definition for divert, so that would be very helpful. Regarding the doctor relationships, in that it does require a one-year relationship with the physician that's recommending, since many attending physicians or primary care physicians are not permitted by their organizations to make that recommendation, to make it a one-year requirement with at least the physician that is recommending to the recommender, I should say, find some way that the people can still get it if they're not actually dealing with their primary care physician, because they're prohibited from making that recommendation. If there's anything that could be added to the bill to extend rulemaking authority by the regulatory group, that would certainly be helpful. And the only other thing that, as the sponsor mentioned, there's an amendment regarding storefronts. So we're supporting the bill, although we reserve judgment until we find out exactly what that amendment might say. So, thank you.
Thank you. Further proponents, please.
James Haney, Haney. I'm in support of 193. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there further proponents? Further proponents? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the first opponent. First opponent.
Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Candace Payne, P-A-Y-N-E. I'm here on behalf of Rimrock Foundation, Montana's largest and oldest provider of chemical addiction treatment, and we're from Billings, and we have stood in opposition to every marijuana bill brought up here except the ones favoring repeal. It's the position of Rimrock that repeal is the only way that we will get this scourge under control, and it needs to be taken care of. And with all due respect to Senator Vukovic, this is not the way. Please support the repeal and oppose this Senate Bill 193. Thank you.
Further opponents? Further opponents?
Mr. Chairman, members, Jeff Laszloff of the Montana Family Foundation, LASZLOFFY. We continue to stand in support of just a straight repeal. We think that that's the best way to handle this. We don't believe that you're going to successfully regulate it. That said, there's just a couple of things in this particular bill that came to mind as I read it. First of all, the definition of debilitating illness. I still don't think we're there. I think that it's still too broad. A couple of examples would be line 26, severe or chronic pain. It's just not measurable, and this is how we started getting around the current law. The second one is on the line 29, severe or persistent muscle spasms. I think I actually qualify for that one. I have persistent muscle spasms on a regular basis with my back, but I wouldn't consider that debilitating. It's just something that I have, and I think that those would need to be tightened up. We would just the other thing is, if you're going to go the route of the physician, it seems like it would be beneficial in hindsight to limit the number of patients that a physician can recommend, that any one physician can recommend. Then we don't have somebody that comes in and just is the physician of choice for every single person that wants to do this. Finally, I guess I would say that we would prefer that you stuck with repeal. If you have to go the direction of regulation, we would prefer Senate Bill 423 to this one in its current form. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there further opponents wishing to speak? Any further opponents? Is anyone here to be identified as an informational witness? Seeing none, we're ready for questions from the committee. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, Senator Vukovic, you may close, and I will assure you that we will not take exec until you bring your proposed amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. I guess my only closure that I have is hopefully something will be done, either looking at this law that is in place now in New Mexico, and again, I can't urge you enough. They will start issuing cards on April 14th, but they went through a very rigorous process of setting up this whole program in New Mexico. And
You mean Arizona, don't you?
I mean, not New Mexico, Arizona. And I've never had an original idea, I think, in my life, but I don't mind borrowing ideas if they're good ones from somewhere else. And I really urge you all to look at that Arizona law and the way that it is set up and the way that it is administered and the rules, and see if we cannot adopt something very similar to it here in Montana, because I think it's going to work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. This will close the hearing.